So we have completed 2 sessions and we discussed about the meaning of the course Oracle Fusion Cloud Financials. And out of this course, what exactly we are going to learn, what different applications we are going to learn, we discussed very high level. As a part of course, we discussed the meaning of Oracle Fusion Cloud Financials application, the different areas of information we discussed, and the timings. Once again, I am repeating, these are going to be our scheduled timings for this entire course. So far, whatever we discussed, any questions from anyone, please? So before we proceed further, any questions from anyone, please?
Still had a confusion with the difference of fusion and cloud.
Fusion and cloud. So it's all about where you have your applications. Are you going to keep your applications in your own server? Don't call it as cloud. If you are keeping your applications in Oracle server, call it as a cloud. It's very simple. This is the course name we discussed. Now I will write like this. I'm using my own servers and I have Fusion applications in my own server. I'll call it as Oracle Fusion Financials. I'm not using my own servers, but I'm going to use Fusion Financials by using Oracle servers. Now I have to include cloud in this. So where you deployed, where your applications are deployed, if you have in your own servers, call it as it is. What is the name for that? If you are going to keep your applications in Oracle servers, include the term called as cloud. Is it clear or you want to? If you have any questions, let me know, we'll discuss. It's very simple. Where you have your applications, in your own server or Oracle servers. Oracle servers are virtual servers, as we discussed in the last session. Those are not physical, virtual. By using the big servers, big machines, Oracle can generate multiple virtual servers. That servers they will allocate to the clients and they'll keep those servers available for the client locations by keeping the same in the nearest data centers. Since you are accessing your servers with a virtualization or virtual servers, internet as a source, physical server might be residing in US or India or UK somewhere else, but your virtual servers are not going to be in the physical location. Your virtual servers are supported by physical servers, but not in the specific location. Those would be available internet as a source. So you can say your servers are there in the internet. Wherever you have internet, there your servers are readily available. So that sort of environment we call as a cloud. Cloud means not physical server, virtual server. Virtual servers are provided by Oracle in our context. So if you are using the Fusion applications through virtual servers, you call it as a cloud. If you are not using the Fusion applications through cloud, or I mean to say not through virtual servers, with your own servers, physical servers, don't include the term called as cloud. Is it clear or do you have any questions?
Cleared.
Okay, great. Any questions from anyone, please? Okay, before we jump into another data to understand further, any questions, please? Okay, no questions. Now, so when we are going to access servers from Oracle, what is the landscape of the servers? How do we get that access from Oracle? So you are going to work for one company as a consultant, and the company will get the server access. The servers what Oracle is going to provide, they will provide by default two. They will provide two, they will provide what exactly they will provide, we'll discuss. The two environments we get that we call as instances. The software product access what we get that we call as instance. Instance means the copy of software product. Whatever the product Oracle develop, what they are giving to the clients, they are just making the copy, not more than that. So the copy of software products, if you talk about our financials, we will get access to all the financials application if you take the subscription from Oracle. What are the applications we are taking the subscription from Oracle? Oracle should allow us to use through virtual servers. Through virtual servers, they will give the access to the application, that environment, the application's environment, the software product we call as instance. Instance is nothing but copy of software product which Oracle is offering to us. By default, they provide two instances. By default, they provide two instances. Those two instances, primarily, this is the one, test instance, or you can call it, other one you can call as production instance. If you take example of the implementation period as 10 months, almost 7 to 8 months, we will work on the test instance. We do all the setups, we test and we'll show to the client and we take the confirmation, which we call as sign off. If everything is validated and working fine, then we will move everything to production instance. We'll move to production instance. In the last session, we discussed about SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. If any client is going to use PaaS, they do the customizations. They do the customizations, creating new pages, creating new reports, creating new application, or creating the interfaces. To do all these activities, the customizations are done by technical consultant. To perform all these activities, we may get one more instance from Oracle. But by default, Oracle provides two. By paying additional subscription fee, you can get additional instances also from Oracle. So that instance you may use for development purpose. Whatever the customizations you are doing, those customizations you can do in the separate instance. Once they're up and running, those you can move to production instance. The production instance is the one which can be used by company. So this is just for testing purpose. So we will create everything in the system, like where client is doing the business, what activities they are doing, in payables, what they are doing, in receivables, what they are doing. Everything we just set up and we test. The moment everything is working fine, if client is accepted, that we can move to production. This is the real environment which client will use for their day-to-day business transactions purpose. Any customizations need to be done that we do in this instance. This will be used by technical consultant and this will be used by us. The test instance, as a functional consultant, we do all the testing. And the production instance for the client. Once everything we test, if everything is working fine, all the setups what we do in this test instance, we will move to production instance. What are the developments, what are the customizations are done by technical consultants, those also we can move to production. So that client will start using those instances for recording the business transactions. So that's how it works. In some projects, you may see just a test instance and a production instance. You may not have a development instance in case of SaaS environment. If it is a PaaS, most of the projects, you can have a development instance. In some implementations, there won't be development instance. Even the developments, creating new pages or reports, interfaces, everything can be tested in this test instance itself. Most of the times, if you are doing the development in the test instance, it may get disturbed with the customizations. That is the reason, as a best practice, we use separate instance. But remember, only two instances we can get. When we say we, treat as a client, as a company. The companies can get only two instances by default. Apart from that, if they need additional instances, accordingly, they have to pay and get. If they get what purpose, they may get additional instances, maybe for development purpose. So this is the landscape of the instances we have to understand. The test instance, development instance, production instance. And these we call as a pods, POD pod. Okay, pod means it's a lightweight, you know, iPod. In the same way, since the virtual servers you can represent with the name called as a pod, or you can call it as environment also. You can say test environment, development environment, production environment. Instead of calling these with the full name, the development instance you can call as dev instance, the production instance you can call as prod instance. These are the different names we use when we are working for any project. This is all about landscape of instance. So by default, every client need two instances. One is a test, other one is production. Production is the real instance. To keep production instance ready, first we have to work on the test instance, and everything we have to test. After getting the client approvals, everything will move to production. Then they'll start using that instance for their business purpose. If any customizations need to be done, you can do those in the test instance and you can test. If you don't want to use the test instance, you can have a separate instance that you call as a development instance. Apart from these three instances, there is another type of instance that we call as vision instance. This Oracle is providing for training purposes. Now the instance what we are going to use, that instance you can call as a vision instance. How this vision instance is different from other instances? When you look at the functionality, features, application, everything will remain same. Only the difference is what are the instances we get for the client. These you find as a fresh instances. How do you call it as a fresh? No data you can find. No data. If you look at these instances, you don't find any suppliers, you don't find any customers, you don't find any invoices or payments or receipts. Whatever we discussed related to finance, no data you can find. Everything you can create from the scratch. As a consultant, everything you have to create from the scratch. That's what we are going to learn from our classes. Everything you have to create. When you look at this vision instance, here you can find the sample data. Oracle is providing few companies, and they are providing the suppliers, customers, bank accounts, invoices, payments. You can refer and you can understand and you can learn. That is the purpose Oracle is providing, but we are going to learn everything from the scratch. So why they are naming it as a vision instance? When they are providing the sample data, for most of the sample data, they are taking the company name as a vision. Since they are using the name for sample data company as vision, they are representing the instance itself as a vision instance. If you are using one instance for XYZ company, you can call it as XYZ instance. If you are using it for ABC company, you can name it as ABC instance. The same way, Oracle is providing one instance with a sample data. To create the sample data, they are taking the company name as vision. That is the reason that instance we call as vision instance. Remember one thing, no client is going to use the vision instance. Vision instance only for training and practice purposes. So the Oracle is providing this for their consulting partners. So product is owned by Oracle, but all the companies are implementing this vision applications for their clients. Take example IBM, Infosys, Wipro, Genpact. Okay, any company you take, the top IT companies, almost all companies are Oracle partners to implement Oracle applications for their clients. Now this vision instance can be provided by Oracle for those companies so that they can give it to their consultants, they can use for internal purpose. So no vision instance is required by any client or company, only it is for internal purposes. These are the real instances which we see and use as a part of implementation. This is all about landscape of the instances, how many instances we use, what purpose we use. You forget about vision instance when you talk about companies. Okay, when we are going to learn, we use the vision instance. What really we do in this test, development and production instances, the same we are going to replicate in the vision instance when you learn. Even there is sample data, we are not going to refer. We are going to create everything from the scratch. You will have an experience of using the real-time instance. This is what we have to understand before we proceed. Any questions here, please?
Sir?
Yeah, hi, sir.
Please.
So you told about client and function consultant, right? So once the project has been implemented and tested and when it moved to production, so what should be our role? Whether we just need to support the client, help the clients on processing the orders and invoicing, or we need to do those things?
Yes. We never create the transactions. As a consultant, we set up the system as per their business requirement. How we set up the system as per their business requirement, that we will learn from our classes. Whatever you learn, that you are going to use as a part of project. Say the implementation may be 1 year duration. So for 1 year, you will work for one client and you understand what business they are doing, how they are doing in payables department, what they are doing. Accordingly, we set up payables application. As a part of receivables department, what activities they are doing, you have to sit and you have to discuss with them and you will understand. And you do the AR related setups, receivable setups. So that's how you will help them to set up the system, and you help them how to create invoice in the payables, how to make the payment, how to maintain the bank accounts, how to create the transactions in the receivables, how to create the receipt, how to create asset in the fixed assets application. These all we will help them. Once we will help them to understand how this application can be used, they will start using. We are not going to create any transactions in their production instance. We will help them. We will show in the test instance how invoice they can create, how they can make the payment. One time we will show. Once system will go live, if you set 1 year duration, after 1 year, they will start using the system. When they start using the system, they know how to enter the transaction, not more than that. What are the setups we do that we know? Because we are consultants, we know in and out. As a client, they know how to use the system, how to manage the system, they don't know. If they know how to manage the system, they will become consultants. We won't be having any jobs. So our job would be helping them as a part of implementation. Once implementation done, if they are using the system, they will face many issues. If they are creating invoice, they may not find supplier. They'll come to us. I'm not able to find the supplier, help us. We know what to do to get the supplier in the invoice creation page. So we will be helping them. We are not going to create any transactions. That is not our job. Who are going to create invoices, payments? The team would be from client side. We call them as end users. End users. In the companies, you see them as accountants. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions here, please?
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Please.
So you said after we set up the modules, right, like AP, AR and all, so there are many test cases, right?
Yes.
Who will test those? Function consultant?
So we will ask them to test. For that, we will support. Say, for example, you take payables.
Mhm.
So you create different type of invoices for different purposes. Okay.
Yeah.
Every scenario you take as one case. And we will provide you the document to that users saying that if you want to create invoice, this is what you have to do. You have to click here. So and so page will open. There you select supplier. You select supplier address. You enter the invoice number. You enter invoice amount. You just enter the payment terms when you have to pay, and you enter the accounts, what purpose you, what purchases you did. We just provide the document. By seeing that, they will test before client. Even we can test it. Sometimes even we test it, whether the system is working properly or not, we test, but we may not test everything. And we will set up the system. We will ask the client, please test. So let us know if you are facing some challenge. We will help you. That's how we will be with them, and we will be guiding them and supporting them so that they will test. They says yes, the test case is successful. I was able to create the invoice without any challenges, and they'll come back to us. They'll provide their test results, and we'll tell them what else they have to test as per their current business. what they are doing, we will ask them to test everything. For that, we will provide the support. It's a very simple engagement. So we'll have
Okay.
a test scenarios with us. Okay, we can use from the previous projects, or we can get from the project itself. You are working for some company, there will be PMO, project management office. They will provide set of templates and documents which you can reuse in the different projects which already you created and used in the past projects. There will be great support from the PMO when you are in part of project. You no need to create everything from the scratch. They will help us accordingly. You have to adjust. You may do some slight changes, changing the names as per this client, what is required, what is not required, that you can just adding and eliminating this and all you can do. That's how you can help the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lakshman, can I jump in here?
Please.
Yeah, I think for the first two sets, I think for the initial test cycles, I think we're going to do spoon feed, right, for the users. But whereas for the second SIT2 and UAT, I think then the user takes off, right?
Yeah, slowly we'll be helping them to get into the system. Okay. So first we'll talk about this is system and this is what you are doing. We'll take all the information from the business and we test it. We will give the test scripts to them. Okay, which is very spoon feeding, as you mentioned. Okay, then anybody will be able to do it. We'll give the detailed navigation, each and every element input, each and every field data. They can test it. So we'll look at their test results. If they need some support, we will help them. Then finally we'll move to production. And by the time we provide the training also for the business users. We will explain them how to create invoice, how to create the payments. And also we will provide some training documents for the business users related to transaction entry. That's it. How to create the invoice, how to create the payments. We'll make few screenshots from our system and we'll give some navigation. By seeing that, they'll be able to do. Once they are comfortable with the system, we'll go with the production and they will start working on the production. We will be there to support them. Yep. So I'm not taking some other names because it would be very new for many guys. Okay. So system integration testing, unit testing and all that I'm not taking. That you can find in the real-time discussions. Any other questions, please?
Sir, can functional team use the dev instance?
Come again.
Can functional team use the dev instance?
Anyone can use, but when you have instance for you as a functional consultant, we no need to touch development instance, not required. If you want to use, you can use, but that is primarily allocated for technical team so that they can do all their developments, they can test. If you allow them to use the test instance because of the developments, what they are doing, things might get disturbed what you are doing from your end. That is the reason as a best practice. If you have many customizations, you will get development instance. If you have a very less customizations, you can allow the technical people to use the test instance to create those customizations as well as to test those customizations. You can use, there is no restriction, but when we have a test instance, you no need to go and touch this development instance, not required. There is no need. If you want, you can. Some projects, what we do is they will name it as a development instance. We use as a test as well as development same instance. This is other phenomena, other different scenario. In that scenario, you don't find something as a test. The development instance only you use for testing purpose as well as development purpose. It means the functional consultants, that means we, and technical consultants, the both are going to use the same instance. So they do their job, we'll do our job within the same instance. There is no hard and fast rule. Only the rule is once system will go live, once implementation is done, as a functional or technical consultants, we are not supposed to do anything in the production. Only client will use it. If they are facing some issues, we can help them in the production. Apart from that, we are not going to do any testing. We are not going to do any developments to just test how those are working on that. Anything reality would be in this instance. And if you are trying to help them, that first you have to do in these instances, if everything is working fine, that you can move from here to production so that client will start using the same in their environment, that is production. This is how it works.
Okay, so like we will move it to any process or we have to create it again in the production?
We will move it. There is a process. You can copy all the setups and stuff from one instance to another instance. There is separate process.
Okay, sir. And does Oracle charge anything extra for dev instance? Like you said, only two
Yes,
instances are
they will
used.
charge. They will charge. So when you take the subscription from Oracle, by default, you get 2. If you want to get more than 2, you have to pay accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any questions, please?
Sir,
Yeah.
for implementing all the modules like AP, AR, and cash management, a single consultant will do the work, or for the each module, a dedicated consultant will be held?
It depends. Some projects, it runs in this way. Only one consultant will work for all the financial applications. If client is very small and business is not complex, and that works. In some implementations, you could see for finance, there will be 2 consultants. In some implementations, you see for only financials, there will be 3-4 consultants. And there are few implementations only for AP, 5-6 functional consultants. It depending on the company, the client. Are we going to implement for only one country or multiple countries? And the implementation, what we are doing, their business process very simple or complex. And again, how many customizations are part of that implementation? This all will decide how many consultants are required.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Lakshman, sir,
Sir,
Please.
okay,
can I go?
yeah, proceed.
Yeah. So let's take an example of a company called ABC. So they wanted to implement this Oracle Cloud,
Okay.
right? But they have been in business for 10 years, maybe, right?
Yes.
They might have used some other accounting softwares like QuickBooks or Bill. There are many, right?
True. That's a reality.
So, yeah. So for going forward, they will be using this. But if they want to bring their historic data into this Oracle Fusion Cloud, what's the process?
Yeah, it's very simple. Very simple. So even we no need to do a lot of hard work from our side being a functional consultant. So what we do is Oracle is providing the templates. The templates we will share to business. As we mentioned, XYZ company. To XYZ company, there will be team for implementation purpose who will be helping us to do this implementation by providing the data and how they are doing the business. They have to tell us, otherwise we don't know.
Right.
They have to help us. When we are working from our company side as a consultants, from client side, ABC company side, there will be a set of people who will be working as a team who will be helping us to provide their business data and how they are doing the business activities. We will give these templates to them and we'll ask them to fill those templates. Once data is available, that we can load into instance. That's it. That we call as data conversion. The historical data, they might be using something JD Edwards or QuickBooks or Tally or some other accounting packages. So in that, what are the suppliers they have as per their current system, we will give one template. They will just provide, it will have a certain format, data format. Accordingly, they'll fill the data. Once we get the template, we will convert the template into data file and we will load into production instance so that all their suppliers information would be available in the Fusion instance. In the same way, suppliers, in the same way, assets, the same way, their purchase orders, their sales orders, their invoices, their transactions. So this we call as master data and transaction data conversion. Master data means suppliers, customers, assets, items. This all we call as master data. Transactional data means invoices, transactions, purchase orders we call as a transaction data. This is one of the activity as a part of implementation. It's a pretty easy task. So we handle, even I'm going to cover that in our classes. That is part of our course only. How to execute the conversions, how to get the historical data and how to load into client instance. Everything we are going to see in our classes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do one thing. You get the course curriculum from our team. At the end of the session, even I'll walk through the course curriculum, the detailed curriculum. So that you will get some insight about what exactly we are going to learn. From other side, you please try to keep in touch with our team to get the course curriculum.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions?
So,
Hello,
Sandhya
Lakshman.
here.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Can I proceed?
what exactly?
Continue.
Oh, yeah. So, what exactly
I'm
do you
sorry.
mean by test scripts? When you're talking about implementing in the test instance, what exactly do you mean by test scripts?
Okay. So test script is nothing but what you want to do, giving the direction you call as a test script. See, you want to create Facebook account. You don't know how to do that. I'll create test script saying that step 1, type facebook.com in the address bar. That is one action. The second action, action 2, click on, then the page will be displayed. The home page will be displayed. Second action, click on sign up. That is second action. Third action, input the data, first name, last name, this and that. Third action. Fourth action, validation. Fifth action, you will be landing in your account. The sixth action, you will be able to have a complete page with your name. That is a target results. So this course of steps, you can call it as a one test scenario. This kind of scenarios all put together you call as a test script.
Okay, Lakshman.
Yeah. Questions, please.
So I was trying to ask this the test in instance we will be doing customization, sir,
No.
or in the development
We
instance.
don't do any customization. So what we do is, say we talk to the client. Client is saying they are doing the business in 5 countries, for example. Okay.
Okay.
So what business they are doing, we'll make a note. In each country, in how many locations they have a business, we'll make a note. And in which location, what activities they are doing, we'll make a note. And each department, what are the activities they are doing, we'll make a note. The same, everything will create in the test instance.
Okay.
Everything will create in the test instance, and we set up how reality they are doing the business physically, the environment we create in the test instance.
Okay.
And we will check whether everything is working fine or not. As per their business, what we set in the system, we will test once, we'll check once. If it is working, we will ask them to take a trial. Please come and enter invoice, I'll guide you. Please, so let's try to make the payment in the Fusion applications, we will guide you. This is how we'll guide them. And before that, we will provide the kind of training also. You may just be in the client location to give the training, or else through remote also. You can just make just a schedule, and you can tell them today we are going to talk about payables. We will show you how to create the supplier, how to create the invoice, how to make the payment, how to create the bank account, how to run the report. We will show you today so that you will be very familiar with the system so that you can start using for your business. This is what we tell them. The same we are going to learn. What we have to tell, we have to learn now. That's what we are going to do. What we are going to tell them, that is not going to be what we are going to learn now. We are going to learn a lot to become a functional consultant, and we are going to tell them what they need, just they need.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't do any development in the test instance. This is just purely for functional people, and developments takes place in the development instance. If you don't use development instance, then you can use the test instance for both purposes, testing as well as development.
Okay, got it. So people whoever have the development instance, they will do the customizations in development instance.
Yeah, 99%.
People who doesn't have,
yes,
they will use the test instance. Okay.
Yeah. In some projects, what we do is we get 2 instances. One we use as a production. Production is fixed. The name is fixed, production. In some projects, we get one instance, the second instance as a development. You may put the name as a development. but the development for the purpose of testing and development, you may use in that way. Okay. So you can
Testing and
decide.
development. Okay.
Yeah, you can decide if you are going to have a 3, one for sure for production, one for testing, one for development. If you are going to have a 2, one for production, remaining 1, you can name as a test and use for testing and development, or you can name it as development, use for testing and development. That is up to you.
Okay, both instances work in the same way, but we are using for a
There
different
is no
purposes.
difference, only the purpose.
Okay, okay,
Colors also not different, everything is same. Okay.
okay.
Only the
okay.
purpose, only the purpose. What purpose? Production is always high priority purpose, right? This is what real instance, real purpose. Only you enter real data.
Okay.
Is just to support, to bring the production into place. We have to create something, we have to test, we have to check, and we have to give the training, or else we have to ask the business users to enter the dummy transactions. For that purpose, we use these environments.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
It's clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions, please?
So we'll see that how will we transfer that test from test instance to production.
Yeah, we should know, because we have to work as a consultants. I'll cover everything. I'll cover everything what we need.
Okay, because like there will be some failure cases in test instance. So how will we eradicate those?
Everything you'll come to know. I'll take care of that.
Okay, sir.
My responsibility. Yeah. Any questions?
Sir, how the instant code looks? Means it was in a URL format or in
We'll
some
see
other
in
format?
today's session, maybe in minutes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Sir, if we have any roadblocks during the setup, does Oracle support?
So yes, Oracle supports for anything related to instance issues. It may be your setup related, it may be some transaction related, it may be access related or something else. So all the time Oracle would be there. When we are working as a consultants, we will get access to Oracle portal that we call as global support. There will be set of teams from Oracle side to help us 24/7. You are working an instance, something is not responding, you are trying to open something, or you're trying to create something as a consultant, it is not working. You can go to that support portal, you can search what is the issue you are facing, you can input and you can search. There will be recommendations if you are into so and so case of issue, what to do, how to fix it. If that information is not helping you, you can directly raise service request, SR we call service request. Okay, you can request Oracle to provide the service to help us to fix that issue. Then some support engineer will come into the picture. They will help us. If required, they'll take our instance access and they'll through remotely, and they'll look into our system, they'll fix. Before that, they'll give certain information by saying this is what you can go and check, this is what you have to verify, try in that way, try in that way. That's how they will provide all the guidance, and there'll be dedicated service engineers from Oracle global support team. And other thing, say implementation is done, client is using, so user is creating transaction, there is some issue, it will come to you. Based on your experience, knowledge, you can fix it. If you are not able to fix, no worries, Oracle is there always, you can talk to them. This is what we are into. So we are trying to create invoice, it is not showing so and so data, or we are trying to create, it is throwing some error message, how to go about it. You can talk. When user will come to you, you don't worry, you are not the end point, you have an option. You can take Oracle help, because the business users cannot interact with Oracle, they are not that much good with the product, they know how to use it, you know how to play with this application end to end. So you will interact with Oracle saying that this is a issue we are facing. That means you are going to talk to Oracle on behalf of your client, your consultant. So this is how we will be part of this process.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions? Yep. Let's not try to dig into this as of now, because we have a lot of time, we have to understand many things. Then if you talk about these, it makes more sense. Yep, for everyone. So, but still, if you have any questions, let me know. No issues, we'll discuss.
Sir, do we have anything like a BISP solutions in part of this course, sir?
What exactly, what you are referring with that term?
I heard this like a business intelligence service provider or something.
So that we call
Is
as,
it part of Oracle or what? I'm not
you are
sure.
talking about
They
reporting solution. Yes, those all we have as a part of this. Even we touch base that concept also, how to OTBI we call. Okay, Oracle
Okay.
Business Transaction Intelligence. Okay, that is one of the reporting capability we have in the Fusion applications. Yes, we will
OTBI.
see that how to prepare the reports by using that OTBI.
Acha. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions, please?
So will you cover a bit of SQL also?
Sorry?
Will you cover SQL also?
SQL is not our job, but I'll show you if you want to write SQL queries within the cloud, how you can do that.
Okay, like how the backend looks like that.
Yes. That I'll show you from where you can write SQL queries. I'll take you through. The rest you can take it forward. Maybe you may spend, if you are not aware of how to write basic SQL queries, because we are not going to work as a technical consultant to know in and out of SQL scripts or syntax or statements. You should know very basic. For that, you may spend 1 hour time to grab that information. For that, I'll just provide you a link you can walk through, but that is not very much important. The basic SQL query, just I'll show you in our classes.
Yes, sir, like basic select command.
Yes, select statement or where class this and that. Those which very generally we may use as a functional consultant, that I will cover. No worries.
Like with the joins as well, right?
Correct. Whatever the basic knowledge I require, I'll just touch base and I'll guide you how to acquire that if you are not aware of the basics.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions? No. If any other questions, we'll see in the end of the session. Okay, let's move on. So when you are working in any project, you will get access to these instances. Okay, you will get access to production instance and a test instance. If you have a development, yes, you will get access to development instance. So in every instance, there is a one default user called as FA admin. Okay, this is a seeded user with certain password. But you may not get access to this FA admin. So what Oracle is doing is sometimes they provide FA admin user so that you can access the instance with this. Sometimes they create separate user for every instance. Your project manager or your client will receive these credentials who are in touch with Oracle team. Okay, Oracle licensing and subscription team, they will get instance details. The instance URL would be same as your gmail.com or facebook.com. Similar to that, there will be URL. So how you can directly connect to Facebook or Gmail or Google in the same way, direct connection. There are no intermediate steps which you have to follow. So no plugins, no add-ons, no additional software installation in your system. You can connect to the instances, to these cloud instances. I'm talking about cloud. I'm not talking about on-premise. On-premise, not in the scope. So cloud instances, you can connect from your smartphone if it is connected to internet. Okay, from any device which is connected to internet, from that you can access these instances. Okay, that much compatible these instances are. So when you get access to instance, say you got credentials from your team, say the username is so and so. With that, you have to log into the instance, and the very first step is you have to create your own user. You have to create your own user, and to work as a consultant, we need certain privileges in the instance environment. Means almost we need full access to the instance so that you can work as a consultant. You will be able to do anything and everything. So to get that access, what we have to do is we have to assign roles. When we are going to access to Fusion instance, you can have access to anything inside of the Fusion instance based on the roles which are assigned to your user. Roles will allow you to perform anything. Okay, here everything works based on the roles. Okay, role-based access. If you have access to payables role, you can work for payables. If you have access to receivables roles, you can work for receivables. If you have access to fixed assets application related roles, you can work on fixed assets application. So which roles are assigned to your user, accordingly you can work on the application. But now we are talking about consultant role. If you are going to work as a consultant, you should be able to do all the setups. You should be able to access everything within instance. So for that, we have a separate roles. Okay, we have a separate roles. Let me take the topic as user creation. So the user for whom we are creating for consultant purpose. Consultant is going to have access to instance. What purpose consultant need access to instance? For implementation purpose. So what are the user we create for consultant purpose that we call as implementation user? Okay, as a consultant, what user we need? Implementation user we need. So now we are going to talk about implementation user. So when we work as a consultant, we have to create implementation user for ourselves. You may get some login credentials from your project manager or client. By using that, you create your own user and you facilitate privileges to your user to access everything within the instance environment as a functional consultant. So we are going to create one user. Let's take any name. Say, for example, we are going to implement for the company called as Max Group. So you may create one user, or else if you are going to work as a financial consultant, you may create a user like this. Fin IMPL means you are going to work for financials application, or else simply you may create a user with a client name. Okay, client is say Max. So this is all just any name you can take. Okay, so any name you can take. Sometimes what client will do is, when you are working for client, they will provide username with your email ID. Say you are working for Wipro, you will get Wipro email ID. You will be working for client called as Max. So when we are working for client called as Max, the client also will provide email ID with their domain, like your name @max.com. So with that, you can access to the instance. That is one scenario. The other scenario is they don't provide any login credentials with their company email ID. They will give you some email ID. They will provide you some login credentials with the so-and-so user. You can log into the instance and you can create your own username. Maybe you can give as a finance or fin IMPL. This is how any naming convention you can give and you can create it. So this is how it would work. The first point is we receive the login credentials, instance URL and login credentials from the client. With that, we can log into the instance and we have to create our own user. If client is providing the user with your email ID, that is okay. Otherwise, we have to create username for us. Now we are going to see the same, how to create the user when we are working as a consultant for any project, and what are the roles need to be assigned to that user, we will discuss. Say we are going to create a user called as Max, and Max is going to work as a consultant. If you are going to work as a consultant, you need access to few basic roles. Those roles are application, implementation consultant. This is the one role. The second role is IT security manager. These two roles are required to work as a consultant. So with the help of this application implementation consultant role, you can do any setups. What purpose we need this? To do the setups. Okay, you have to set up. The client wants to use payables application. You have to set up the payable application. Okay, to use the payables application, they need supplier. Without supplier, they cannot create invoice. If they want to make the payment, they need bank account. We create suppliers, we create bank accounts, we do some other settings. This is all we call as setups, or you can call as configuration. You call it as a configuration. Instead of calling as setups and configuration altogether, very high level, you can call as implementation. Okay, to perform the implementation. Performing implementation, nothing but very primarily doing some setups in the system and working with other areas also. So for now, you can take the term as setups or configuration. Later, you will understand where you can call as implementation also. Okay, if you want to perform the setups in the system, we need access to application implementation consultant role. We call it as a role or privilege. Within that, you will have many privileges. And IT security manager. Why we require IT security manager? You are working as a consultant for the client, and say in the payables department, there are 20 people who need access to payables application to create invoices, payments, and to manage the payables application related data as per their payables department. As a consultant, you have to create the 20 users. For each user, what access they need, accordingly, you have to provision the access. One user required access to only invoice creation. Other user need access to only payment creation. One more user need access to only viewing the invoices. You are not going to allow to create, just the user can see the invoices. Okay. So this is how every employee in the organization need variety of data access requirements. For all those, we need access to IT security manager so that you can create the users. Which user need access to what, that you can set up, that is possible from IT security manager. This is only for the purpose of security, you can say. Okay, security means which user can access to the instance. After accessing the instance, what they can do, what is not allowed. Everything you can set by using IT security manager. Okay, it's for security purpose. For security purposes, you can use IT security manager. So this is what we have to understand. If you have access to these two roles, application implementation consultant and IT security manager, you can start working as a consultant. You can do any setups and you can set privileges to any other users also. So these two roles Oracle is providing. Okay, the two roles Oracle is providing. These are there in every instance. Go to test, development, production, vision. Go to any instance, you will find these two roles. These are the basic fundamental roles. So these roles Oracle is providing. Since Oracle is providing these two roles in every instance, this you call as seeded roles. Seeded roles means which comes with instance, which are fundamental roles, which are predefined roles. So seeded roles, these two are seeded roles. We can create our own roles. If you create our own roles as per our business requirement, those we call as custom roles. We will have one separate session on that. How to create our own roles, why we have to create what process, how to copy the roles, how to edit, how to create the roles from the scratch, how many type of roles we have. That is a complete separate area of information. We will have a separate session on that. There we will discuss. Now that is not required to understand. So simply here we have to understand, when we are going to work as a consultant, we need access to the instance. When you get access to the instance, you need full privileges. If you want to get full privileges to the instance, you need access to these two roles. Now we are going to see how to create the user, how to assign these two roles. After assigning the two roles, are we able to access to this setup related area to create the setups? After assigning this IT security manager, from this user, are we going to create new users or not? Means system is going to allow us to create the users or not. This is what we are going to check in the today's session. Okay, we will go through the system. If you have any questions, we will discuss. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I'll set up the instance ready so that we can walk through this system user creation process. Now we'll see how to create the user. First, I'm going to log into the instance with one of the predefined user in that instance. After that, we'll see how to create the new user. When it comes to you, you will get the instance credentials from our team. Okay, the team will send you the instance details with respective credentials. You can access the instance and you can do the same from your end as a practice. So this is a cloud instance. This is SaaS environment. Okay, for us, for functional consultants, it could be SaaS or PaaS. It doesn't make any difference. Okay. It could be SaaS or PaaS. It doesn't make any difference. Our job will remain same. If it is SaaS, no customizations can be done as we discussed. In case of PaaS, customizations can be performed by technical consultants. So this is a cloud instance and you can see the URL here. Okay. So the URL
Sir,
is...
are you sharing the screen? I'm unable to see.
Oh, okay. Got it. I just forgot to share the screen. Sorry for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. This is the instance. This is a login page. So this instance, you can connect from any device. No plugins or no additional softwares or no additional tapping is required for this instance to play with this instance. You can access this instance from your smartphone. This instance is SaaS environment. Within the name you could see here. SaaS SaaS. In some instances, they don't provide the name also. When you talk to the client, okay, or Oracle, you will come to know. But from client, we will have a complete information. Are they going to use SaaS instance or PaaS instance? We will come to know since we will be part of the project. So the exact URL for this instance is from here. Okay, this is the URL. It ends with, so Oracle, okay, Oracle EP demos. And we will share you the exact URL with username and password so that you can connect and you can create user from your end. That's how you can start practicing on this instance. So now I'm going to log into this instance with one of the predefined user. When it comes to you, you will get the credentials from our team. So I'm going to log into this instance as ERPTREE user. Already I created this user. I will connect. So from this user, we will see how to create our own user to work as a consultant. In this home page, you can see a lot of information. Okay, here are different tabs and icons. So going forward, gradually you will understand all this. Now we don't require to understand all this since we not yet started working the relevant activities. Our target is user creation. Let's see how to create the user. So once you connect to the instance, if you want to create your own user, you have to click on this bar icons. You have to click on these bar icons. Please make a note of each and every point. When you just learn something by sitting in the classroom, what approach we follow, please follow the same. Please make a note of each and every point which we are doing. This will help you in the two ways. When you practice on the system, other one is when you attend the interviews. You capture everything what I am explaining. You please capture everything into your note, what I am going to show in the system, the path navigation, where I am clicking, where I am going, what I am doing. Everything, please try to capture. This is very, very important when you are learning so that you can read and remember. When you go for interview, you can talk about it. When you are working on the system by seeing the note, what you prepared, you can practice. You will get videos for every session, but don't depend on those. Okay, you may not play those videos whenever required. It's a big task for you. The best thing is you prepare the note that you can follow as a quick reference. That's very, very important. Please don't ignore it. Okay. To create the user, click on these bar icons. If you place the cursor on those bar icon, you could see the pop-up as a navigator. It will navigate us to go anywhere within the instance. Now click on this navigator icon. It is opening the small panel. What is our objective? User creation. To create the user, you have to go to tools and you have to expand it. Just click on tools section. So under tools, we have a different tasks. Whatever you see here, this all we call as a task, T-A-S-K, task. Under tools, we have a different tasks. Now what we want to do, we want to create the user. User you can create by accessing security console page. So to create the user, click on security console, which is under tools. Click on this. And here is the tab called as users. Click on users tab. And from this page, you can create the user. Just you can click on add user account. You'll be able to create the user. Along with that user, you can assign the roles, whatever we discussed. So to work as a finance or any functional consultant, these two roles are required. So that you'll have a great access within the instance itself. So you can click on add user account. And you can provide first name, last name, email, username, password, and confirm the password. And other point is, you may enter the data which field is mandatory. The first name is not mandatory, email ID is not mandatory. When you are practicing, you can just give the last name, that is more than enough, and you provide the username and provide password and confirm the password. When you set the password in the instance, there is a password policy. You place the cursor on this I, means information icon. It talks about the password policy is very simple. At least 8 characters, one number you have to provide. So if you want to change the password policy, we can do that. We will discuss. Okay, we can set up. It's a very simple setup. Okay, you can set there should be one uppercase and a lowercase, there should be one special character. Yes, this all you can include as a part of password policy. When we are working for the client will come up with their requirement. Okay, this is our password policy. It should not be very simple where somebody can guess. So that's how we can set the password policy also. We will see that. First, we'll see user creation. So from here, you can create user. Once you create user by inputting the data as per these fields, you can add the roles. Here is a tab called as add roles. By using this tab, you can assign these 2 roles to our user. After assigning to this user, then you can log into the instance as a max and you can go and check because of application implementation consultant role, what you are able to access. Because of IT security manager role, what you will be able to access within the system environment, we will check. So let me redo this once again. Okay. So once you get access to the instance, so log into the instance with respect to user credentials, what you will receive from our team. Here I'm using ERPTREE. And just click on sign in. Even if you forget the password, you can reset. That is possible. So click on navigator icon. Within the navigator, you can see this panel. Once you click on navigator, this panel will open. Within the panel, go to tools section and expand it. Go to tools and expand. Click on security console. Click on security console. We'll be landing in this page. And this is a security console page, you can say. And here we have a different tabs. Now select users tab. And if you want to find out existing users, you can find from here. I connected to the instance with a user called as ERPTREE. I want to find out that user record in this page. Yes, we can find out. Click on search. So this is the user. Display name, username. I didn't provide any email ID. The user status is active. That is the reason I'm able to connect to this instance. User account is locked. No. If account is locked, you cannot log into the instance. It should be active and not locked. Done. Let's create our own user. I'm just going back to other tab and I'll come back to user. So there is nothing here. Now we are going to create the user called as Max. Click on add user account. And you can provide the last name. If you want to give first name, email ID, yes, you can add. For now, not required. Just you can give you can input the data in the mandatory fields. That is enough for us. I'm giving last name as a max. The same name system will copy as a username. See, the same, it is copied. It is a defaulting. And by following the password policy, you can set the password. I'm just setting some password. And right away, I can assign the roles also. But I want to assign later. First, we'll see user creation. Then we will see how to assign the roles. Along with the user creation, by clicking on add roles, you can assign those 2 roles to this user. But I don't want to do it now. I want to save the data what I entered for user creation. So nothing is assigned to this user, just user created. Now I'm going to log into the instance as a max user. Just user created, no roles are provisioned. So now if you go to navigator, if you go to tools, there is no security console. In fact, this user cannot do anything. Here is a section called as me, my CV, nothing else. And you click anywhere, nothing you will be able to do as a user. This doesn't help us to perform anything. And whatever you see here also, just it's a basic information. With this information, you cannot perform, you cannot take any action within the instance. So if you assign the roles, accordingly, you will get access. So if you assign the roles, you will find many things in this navigator. We'll come to know. We'll assign and we'll see that. So now just connect to the instance as ERPTREE user, and we will assign the roles to this user so that this user will be able to perform relevant areas of configuration or access. So ERPTREE, provide password. And click on navigator icon, go to tools, click on security console. And go to users, find out the user, whatever we created just now. Username is Max. Search. So you can click on display name or username. The user record will be open. And before you proceed with this, here you can see the actions. Click on drop down for the actions. If you want to log this account, you can log it. If you log, you cannot log into this instance with this user. Since you are logging the user account, you cannot. If you want to reset the password, you can select reset password and you will be able to enter the new password and you can confirm the same. So you want to delete this user, yes, you can delete. But the deletion would be very virtual. The user will not be displayed in this page once you delete, but it would be there in the database. The reason is, with this user, you might have created some setups and transactions. There should be history against the transaction, who created the transactions, who created the setups, or who did something else. For that purpose, Oracle is not going to delete the user from the database. It will disable the display from this page when you perform the action called as delete. It is not real deletion, just only the deletion from this page for a display. That's it. You can compare one user with another user. Okay, you can compare this Max user with another user. Once you start working on this system, you will understand that you can compare what roles are assigned to this user, what roles are assigned to another user. That's how you can start comparing when you start working on the system. So you created this user and you assigned a few roles, and you need one more user with the same roles. Now you can copy this user. You can click on copy. This user will be copied, and you can give the different username, and what are the roles already assigned to this user, you no need to assign once again. With the same roles, you can create one more user. But as of now, we didn't assign any roles. If you are going to copy, nothing will be copied, nothing we assign to this user. So these are the different actions you can perform. Okay. So when you are practicing also, please don't practice to log with the username what we are providing. whatever the user we are going to provide for your practice purpose to connect to the instance, don't exercise, don't practice on this, how to log, how to delete. If you want to exercise these, you create one more user, 2-3 users you may create, and you just test how to delete, how to log. This is what you can try from your end to understand. But whatever the user we are going to provide, don't try to perform these operations of logging, deletion, etc. Okay. Now, we are going to assign the roles to this user. Click on username. And click on edit, so that here you can assign the roles. Here you can assign the roles once you click on edit. Click on edit. Now this page turned into editable mode. Click on add role. Click on add role tab. What roles we have to assign? Application implementation consultant and IT security manager. Fine. So assign the same. The role name is, just you type application implementation. Just stop up to there. Okay. Application implementation. We have to assign application implementation consultant role. But if you look at this list of information, you could see 3 different roles here. One is application implementation administrator. The other one is application implementation consultant. The third one is application implementation manager. The same application implementation administrator, you have one more copy. 2 copies we have, but you can see the difference at code. This we call as code. This is the name. Application implementation administrator is the name. The code is ASM underscore application underscore implementation admin abstract. This is what we call as role code. If you notice, role name is same, codes are different. It is starting with ASM, this is starting with ORASM. The same way, the same role somebody copied. They just copied it, and you could see it is ending with a copy. That same is applicable for other 2 roles also. Application implementation consultant, same application implementation consultant, 2 copies are there, codes are different. And somebody copied the same. Again, they copied twice. Application implementation consultant, they copied twice. These 2 they copied with a different role codes. And you can look at application implementation manager role. Again, 2 copies are available, and you can just see the difference with the role code. And the ASM role somebody copied. This is how you can see. So we are here to select application implementation consultant. When you practice, choose only application implementation consultant role. The application implementation consultant role has all the privileges which are not part of administrator as well as manager also. Okay, you will have all the privileges within consultant role, not in the manager or administrator role. So always you assign application implementation consultant role to user. Now the question is, which application implementation consultant role you have to assign? So now you type consultant. So there are 4 copies. Okay, 4 records. Which one we have to assign? Whenever you see something is copied, ignore it. Okay, somebody copied. Even we also can copy it. We will do that. So these you can say 2 are seeded. These first two are provided by Oracle. How can you say? The role names are exactly application implementation consultant. If something is added as a prefix or suffix, always you have to understand that is not provided by Oracle. Somebody created for their practice purpose. Now, which one we have to choose? Both are same. Both will have the same privileges inside of it. But there is some slight difference. So when we work on the custom roles, I will explain and I'll show you the proof. For now, not required. Anyone you can choose. Anyone you can assign to the user. For now, I'm going to select the first one. Application implementation consultant is the role name. Code is starting with ORA. Select it. So the same, there are 2. One is copy, other one is seeded. Select first one. Copy one never assigned to your user. Select. Just click on this record. It is selected. Now click on add role membership. Nothing but we are assigning this role to our user. Click on Add role membership. Done. So I'm just closing this. See, the role is assigned. So we have to assign one more role, IT security manager. Let's assign. Click on add role. By standing in this page, you can assign multiple. But just to show you as assigned, I close this window. What is the role name? IT security manager. Here also it is displaying 4 records, which includes IT security manager. These 2 are copied by somebody. Wisely they mentioned, do not use. Great. And these are the 2 remaining. These 2 are provided by Oracle. So anyone you can choose. Anyone you can assign to your user. I'm selecting first one, IT security manager. The role code is starting with ORA. Select and assign. Add role membership is nothing but assign. Click on the same and click on done. You could see for the user called as Max, the 2 roles are assigned. Now say save and close. Just click on save and close and click on done. There is a lot of stuff which we have to understand at the user. We will discuss that. We will discuss. For now, let's try to understand very basic level what we should aware as a part of user creation process. Then we will explore what else we have to understand. Now we are ready with our own user and we assigned the roles also. Let's connect to the instance with our own user. See, done. See, at ERPTREE user also, you have a limited data here. And notice here, okay, from ERPTREE user, you have a limited access, very limited sections. If you click on username, okay, this panel also displaying very limited hyperlinks. These all we call as a tasks. Now we are going to connect to the instance as a max user. Max user is going to work as a consultant. It means full privileges. Sign out. Confirm. So sign out, log out, you have to confirm. Now log into the instance as a max. Provide password and sign in. Okay, sign in. Now we connected to the instance. And again here, the system can understand based on the time zone, it can just populate the time and we can set the time zone. The same instance, same time, multiple country users might use. For India users, we can set the time zone as a India time zone. For US users, US time zone, other country users, other country time zones. We can manage at the single instance. We'll see the detail level. Now we are going to check. Click on this navigator. You see, the many sections are there within this navigator. This user got full privileges. Now click on username. Here also in the panel, there are many tasks. And here also you can see many. This is all we are getting because this user got access to application implementation consultant and IT security manager. Many privileges here and there, everywhere. You click on show more, it will expand and it will show everything. Many. So this Max can work as a consultant now, full privileges for anything and everything which are part of the instance, which are required for consultant, functional consultants. I'm not talking about technical consultants. So this is what we have to understand. We got full access. So just we created user. There is a lot to understand about user that we will cover in the tomorrow session. Okay, that we will cover in the tomorrow session. So you can keep in touch with our team. Okay, they may help you to get the instance and all based on the formalities which you are going to complete. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back. We will discuss. If no questions, we'll connect tomorrow same time. Thank you all. Have a great day.